Hello, welcome to the studio part of our session on social media. I structure this part in two parts. In the one, I will lead you in the form of a tutorial, like we have done with WordPress, how to install Wikipedia. You can do that on my server, but you don't need to. It's very straightforward, and I think it's as easy as you will find it then when you do it on your own web server. Just for the completeness, I show you how it works, and then in the second part, we will look into Wikipedia as a social medium and see into the communication processes and cultures, and a bit also further into the technology. So the Wikipedia engine is open source and everyone is free to use it. It is published here as MediaWiki, and there's not much else to say as follow the steps of the instructions. So once you download that, you find it in your download directory, as I have done already. Because it's a rather big file, so you see it here. It's a compressed file, but it's still 5 megabytes of size. Is that true? 1, 2, 3, 4. No, it's actually it's much bigger. Even it's maybe I miscalculate here. So then we have to expand it. I mean, if you have a web server that allows you to expand things server sides, then you can upload it first and then expand it. But I can't grant you that, so we have to do it here, which means we open it. You can do that in any file management tool. Just for the ease, I do it here in FileZilla. So and you see now it expands into a folder that has a lot of files. And if we refresh our window in FileZilla, you see the folder now here. So this is basically the files that we have to upload. So to upload, I mean, I have to go for the credentials here. This is my credentials, these are yours, and put them into FileZilla, and then I can connect, and then usually the nagging screen that the certificate is not right pops up, and you click OK. I have done that already, so it's gone. And then I've created a folder that I call Wiki. So I did that. And I uploaded the files already. So these are all the files that you find here on that side in the expanded downloaded installation file. So this is it, and then we go to install, and the installation guide is very simple. If you have uploaded the files, then you just enter the path, and if you do that, so my path, if you remember, I've in the root directory here, the folder is wiki. So what I have to enter is nyuad0 nyuad0.f3c me/wiki, and then the installation process begins, and it begins by showing you this page because you haven't set up anything. And if you so first we choose our language environment for the installation as well as for the wiki in which it should be mainly published. Next comes an environmental check. So if our server environment on our web server side actually works, and you see yes, everything seems fine. And now we have to connect it with our database. Our database is a MySQL database, but you see you have to know that. It's the local host. Then let's see our credentials again. So we have the database name here. That is the database name. And that is also our username. And then we have our password. That's the same password that all of you have to use if you want to follow that. It's the same as our WordPress installation, and this, of course, requires a bit of attention and carefulness, because we have to give table prefixes, not to overwrite each other's tables. So I would have here maybe the prefix wiki 0 underscore. So 0 is kind of the list of 17 numbers, 0 to 17, the numbers that I've assigned to all of us. And so wiki 0 would be my prefix. So let's continue. No. And continue further. We can give the wiki a name, so that is POC Studio Wiki maybe, or something like that. And it is not necessary to give yourself an account here. You can do that later, but why wouldn't we populate that? Yeah, we can definitely use this password here. And we need an email address for the system to communicate with us. So yes, we can actually stop here. However, it is advisable to answer the next question, because by default the wiki is completely open. That means anyone on the web can just edit whatever they want. And I showed you the amount of hacking attempts that all the time hit any kind of web pages, and of course bots try all kinds of things and populate your wiki over and over with all kinds of spam. So it is, I think, always advisable to have an account created. That, however, a bot can do as well. So what I do here is only authorized editors are allowed to do anything here. So, and I mean, we can choose our copyright license, the Creative Commons license, for example, and so on. I mean, the rest is just styling and features. And if something went wrong with our database, we would probably have been noticed now in this step. So it is yellow, so that is good. It's not red. Now comes the important step. And this step takes a while. This is why I've interrupted the recording. So you see that everything seems fine. So we can basically finish up now. We need a file, localsettings.php, that gets downloaded, and we have to upload it again. That is a kind of security precaution. Let's see that file. So the file is in our downloads. Let's put it into the temps folder that I have connected here. So here you see it, the local settings file, and we have to put that into the directory, the root directory for our wiki installation. Uploaded. Now we have it here in the same folder where we find the index.php file. This is what it says here. And now we can enter our wiki and hope that everything worked. There it is. Our wiki has been created. So let's log in with our credentials. And now we can start creating pages. So for example, let's create the main page. So here you see a bit of styling. The styling is very similar as the Markdown language for GitHub. It's just different symbols. So you have just to learn that. So you see, for example, the two equal signs, that is a heading. So if you see, so we can, for example, add another heading here. Maybe we do that here. So the equal signs are on both sides, really like a tag opening and closing. And we can look at the preview of that. So you see that's another headline here. So, and here we can, for example, remove this and so on. So the best way to learn the syntax is, in my experience, just to look at other Wikipedia pages and then just learn that. So save the, you can, in your own user space, you have a site for your own. This is basically your own user homepage. So you can name that like this. And here you see now we have a page, of course not much content. And we can start any kind of page by putting a word into the search. Like, let's for example have a search term social media, and it will now come up that the page social media doesn't exist. If we click on the red social media, it creates automatically an editing page, and we can start by saying something bombastic and save the page. And here you see that was the way of having something in bold, the three apostrophes. I just created a page because the interesting thing in working with wikis is going to the special pages tab, where you have all kinds of maintenance tools at hand that shows you, for example, pages that have just been newly added and so on. You can manage the user's rights, create and delete accounts, and get all kinds of statistics. And in particular, if many users are on a wiki, this is where you maintain the health of the wiki by, for example, removing spam or removing orphaned pages. An orphaned page is a page where nothing links to, and it is kind of on its own and is forgotten. I mean, we talked about the language. I think this is one of the rather ugly words to use. And that's it. So what we've done is we've downloaded and installed a wiki on our own space. We can now populate it and use it for whatever we want.